Anyway, let's pray. God, as we look into the scriptures, continue to teach us that we might grow as your disciples of faith and having peace. Amen. There is something, as we talked about with the children, and Rhea pointed out, there's something about human nature that likes to know what's going on and to try and be in control or at least understand it. We see this right from Adam and Eve, who ate the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And they were tempted by the snake, saying, if you eat this, you'll be like God, knowing good and evil. And so we like to try and be in control of things. The simple problem is, we can't be. And as we look through this story, David was not in control. Saul was really getting worse. He was becoming more violent. He was becoming more hostile towards David. He even thrown a spear. Last week at David's best friend and his own son, Saul's own son, Jonathan, because he was apparently, in Saul's mind, conspiring with David against him. And David had to hide. So he went and he found these caves in a place called Adullam. It was probably, as near as we can tell, it was like a big hill or a small mountain with a bunch of limestone caves interconnected. So it was like a little fortress naturally in there. And they were able to hide some people in there, and he goes and he hid out. And then while he was there, God didn't leave him alone, but helped him. All those who were in distress or in debt or discontented gathered around him, and he became their leader, and there were about 400 with him. David didn't plan to have a whole bunch of people join him, but think about it. If he was worried about King Saul bringing forces and attacking him, having 400 other people to help him fight and defend the stronghold would only give him some help. And so it seems that while David didn't have a plan, God did. And David was willing to trust God. And so today I want us to think about how we can trust God, giving up control, being willing to let God lead us, and to find trusting God can give us faith. Trusting in God because of our faith can give us peace. For example, in today's story, when David was concerned that Saul might either kidnap or use his family to get to him, he went down and hid in Adullam, and his mother and father and all his brothers and their household came and hid with him. And while he was there, I don't know whether it was after a period of time, Mom and Dad, because they were older, were having trouble living in a cave. Maybe the dampness was bothering their arthritis. I can tell you the dampness is bothering my arthritis today. It's a little stiff and sore. And so whatever it was, he went to the king of Moab, and he said, can my mom and dad stay with you until I learn what God will do for me? You see, he didn't know what God was going to do for him. He knew there was a plan. He knew he'd been anointed king. He knew that he was supposed to be king someday, but he didn't know how it was going to happen. He didn't know when it was going to happen. And he was willing to trust God and not try and force it. Clearly, he was waiting on the Lord. And it takes real faith to wait on the Lord. Now, how do you have enough faith to trust that even though you don't know what the plan is, God has a plan? Well, think back to the story of David and Goliath. He offered to go and fight the giant. Everyone said he was crazy. And he said, listen, David's words, your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it. I struck it and I rescued the sheep from the mouth. And when it turned on me, I seized it by its hair and struck it and killed it. Your servant has killed both the lion and the bear. You see, David was not just wishfully thinking, oh, I'm going to be great at something. You know, every once in a while, you run into people who just like to say, oh, I'm great at something, and then when you get them to do it, it's not so good. David actually had real life experience of God helping him in the past. And because he had that experience, he was willing and more able to trust God. And he trusted him, even though he had no knowledge of what was actually going to happen. And I think that's where we live as human beings. car. You could slip and fall on the ice in the wintertime. If we lived in fear, we never leave our house. And if we never left our house, guess what? We'd probably get carbon monoxide or something, or die from a lack of exercise. So the fact is, fear is destructive. And so we replace it by trusting in God. And even though we don't know what it is, we trust that God has a plan for us. And that that's okay, even though we don't know what it is. And what has helped me in the past is, you remember back in 2018, we were applying for our summer camp grants, and they had that little checkbox with that attestation we had to make, and we were going to make it, and we were going to have to figure out how to get through the summer and pay for everybody without the federal grant, and I was really nervous and scared. Well, the reality was we ended up having to play at the VPP. By the end of the year, we hardly lost any money at all, just a little bit. In fact, if the presbytery, we had applied for a grant there, and I thought they'd give me a check, but they'd forgotten to. We got it this past year, in 2019. But if they had given us the grant they were supposed to give us, we wouldn't have lost any money. We wouldn't have made any money. Been really close to zero. And so, I think if we look to the past and we tell the stories about how God has blessed us and helped us in the past, that can help us have faith that He will lead us into the future, even though we don't exactly know when and where and how it's going to happen. Now, that's a cool, adventuresome way to live, but it doesn't come easy to any of us, I don't think. And so we're always trying to take control and do things when we should really probably just be patient and not react too quick. And the good news in that is, when we do mess up, we serve a God who gives us second chances. In the story at the end there, Saul was he was wanting his guards to kill the priests of the Lord, and they didn't want to. And so there were people who were getting frustrated. He was creating chaos. His fear was creating chaos in his kingdom. And people were getting discontented with Saul, or Saul was mad at them and not trusting him. I mean, it could very well be a bunch of those guards that refused to kill the priest, were some of those 400 people that showed up and hang out with David in Adullam. Why? Well, because Saul wasn't really trusting them, because they wouldn't do what he asked them to do, to kill the priest. Anyway, the point is that David had these people coming to be with him, and he was able to train them so that they could be his ministers, his special forces in the future. God was taking care of David. And it's important that we understand that even if you come and we've made mistakes, God understands that and wants to forgive us and help us change and grow. We sang the song about Walk With Me and talked about the story of Peter. Peter was one of the rock. He was the biggest, kind of the leader of all the other disciples. He must have done a really good job. Well, what did he do when Jesus' trial came about? 3 times he denied even knowing Jesus. Jesus warned him he was going to do it. He said, "Oh, Jesus, I'll die for you." Well, when push came to shove, he went out. It's a lot like a lot of us as humans sometimes, isn't it? But God didn't give up on him. Jesus didn't give up on him. When he resurrected and he came back, he took Peter aside on the Sea of Galilee and he said, "Do you love me, Peter?" And Peter says, "Yes, I love you." He says, "Well, then take care of my sheep." And then he asked him again, "Do you love me?" And he said, "Well, yes, I already said I love you." "Well, feed my sheep." And he did it 3 times to the annoyance of Peter. But why did he do it 3 times? Clearly to make sure Peter knew that God had a plan for him, and he was accepted and could be used and forgiven. We live in this politically correct time. If you said something you maybe shouldn't have said 20 years ago, you can't host the Academy Awards, or you can't do this, or you can't be forgiven. Well, guess what? How many, don't put your hands up, but how many of us have done something stupid? We all have. Now, that doesn't mean I know what all of you have done dumb. I probably don't need to know. But we've all done foolish things at some time in our lives. But don't panic about that. God still loves us. Yeah, God probably wants us to change that behavior and grow up and do more important things and become more mature. But He still loves us, and He wants us to grow and become the people He wants us to be. You see, that's what a good heart of God is. We trust God, and when we mess up, we don't give up and think, "Oh, that we are loved, and we can find forgiveness for ourselves, and we can forgive the people around us. And if we understand it, and it all comes back to trust. So in 2019, let us be known as people who trust in the Lord. We don't need to be in control, but we can trust in the Lord even when we don't know when and where and how things are going to happen. And we live that way because we're finite human beings all the time. And secondly, let us be like David, be willing to accept people who may have made mistakes, who've messed up, who've been in debt, who got in trouble with King Saul. And let them train with you and join and grow and develop and become all that God wants us to be. That's what's offered to us. And I think we're foolish to miss out on this. Because my experience is if we follow Jesus, he gives us a fullness of life that is very abundant, full of meaning, direction, and purpose, and often kind of exciting. Why? Because we don't know what's going to come next. Let's pray. Our Lord and our God, we come to you not as people who have everything figured out, but as people who trust in your forgiveness, who trust in your helping us change and grow. We come to you as people as we come to you as we are, and trying to learn to trust you so that when things are out of control or we don't know how long things are going to take, we can still have peace. Work in us as we each have need, we ask in Jesus' strong name.